Hello and welcome back to My Own Worst Enemy. We are going to do an unboxing again. This time we're going to look at a game that I have heard of in the past and forgotten about really, and then saw it again recently mentioned in a thread somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it. But I decided to go ahead and look it up again, and I found a copy that was available and I bought it, so I thought we would take a look and see what's inside of it. I am not familiar with this publisher at all. This is Pacific Rim Publishing. And I'm not really sure what else they have published. I'll have to go back and dig through that to see. I don't know if maybe it's something where they import games from Japan and turn them into English versions. I don't know. I'll have to check that out. This one is designed by Michael Myers. This is the same Michael Myers that is a co-designer of USN Deluxe, which was released in 2004, I believe. This one, according to Board Game Geek, was released in 2010, although I do not remember it releasing at all. This is a very odd sized box by them. Let me see if I can grab a tape measure. Here we go. And so this is not a standard size box. This is 12 inches wide by about 14 inches tall. So it's a much larger box than, let's see if I can grab the cover to, well, actually, let's see. I've got a copy of Conquering the Valley sitting over here. So this is how it compares to a standard size, what I would think of as a standard size box. You can see it's much larger than the average box. So, Across the Pacific, I am not familiar with this game at all. I've done no research on it. It is a Pacific game though, and I can never have too many Pacific games. And we will just take a quick look at the components. And I'm just looking at the back here real quick to see if there's anything about difficulty ratings or that kind of stuff. There's not, and honestly, it's really not that great of a loss. So let's just go ahead and dig in. Now, this is a used copy. It's a semi-used copy. So I bought this from Enterprise Games and it was listed as some of the counters were loose, so I don't know if all the counters are here. I suspect they are. I don't know if they are or not, but we'll take a look and see what it looks like inside now. You are looking into the box at the same time I am. I have not opened this, so let's see what's in here. And there is a bubble wrap on top and around it. I don't know if that was the collector put that in there or the Enterprise Games put that in there. I am not sure. Everything is just kind of floating loose, so let's just go ahead and take things in order. This is the rule book, and it looks like it's going to be in black and white, and it is. So not only is it in black and white, but it is, and there's a picture of a sailor there dedicated to Warren B. Myers, Pharmacist Mate First Class, USNR. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, looking in here, there's an index, and then you're just going to get walls of text, it looks like. There's some unit counter information. Very compact and very, very wordy. And looks like it is in order though, so that might be a good thing. But yeah, there is absolutely no illustrations in here whatsoever. I'm just going to flip to the back real quick here. How many pages are we looking at? 23, 24. I don't see any designer's notes in here or anything. There are the credits there. So yeah, it's just nothing but really, really rules dense pages. So while it says it's 24 pages, it might actually, if it were more like a modern day rulebook, it might actually be a lot larger than that. Let's set this aside for now. We'll keep digging in here. And it looks like we got some player's aid charts. The order of battle. So this, of course, is Japan, and I'll kind of hold this up so you can see it a little clearer there. And yeah, there's something on the back here. Is it just a repeat? No, it looks like you might actually flip this thing. So it starts off on the side here, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and then you'll flip it and go up to turn 9. And then I'm assuming this one is for the Allies, and it looks like that is exactly what it is. So there you go, same thing, turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the front, and I'll let you take a closer look at that. Then we'll flip it over to the back and up to turn 9 again. So maybe there are 9 turns total in this game. Here's the designer's notes. This is the designer's player's handbook, designer notes, historical commentary, and examples of play. So this is much appreciated after seeing that rule book. Again, it's black and white, very word dense. And I'm just flipping through it. It will be interesting to read through this. This looks like a bibliography. It is. Nice bibliography. And I do own several volumes of stuff on the Pacific War. Most of those are digital Kindle purchases, if you're subscribed to the thread on Board Game Geek where they post the special sales on Amazon, we can grab these books for like $1.99. I've got just countless of those books. I will never read all of them before I die. I have that many. Example of air combat. Now the level of this game, this is supposed to be, I think, pretty high level. I think you're dealing with armies in this. So very, very grand strategic game, I believe. I'm going to think it's a grand strategic game. I'm looking in here and seeing, it looks like I am seeing carriers. They are not named, so I don't know if those are carrier groups. Some games that are on the higher scale like this like to take away individual ships and just give you groupings. Amphibious combat. So while there's examples of play in here, it's not, there's absolutely no images to go along with that. So that's kind of a negative. It's strictly just writing to kind of get you through that. But maybe that's why we'll do an example of play on the channel here and we can see how it plays. Now, what is this? This feels like, man, this must be the map, but it feels almost like cloth. It's a weird paper. Let's hold that off to the last. It has a really interesting texture to it. So a number of more player's aid cards, it looks like. So here's our Allied Carrier Air Unit chart. And the carriers are not named. They are numbered, though, so that might be a positive sign. Allied off-map stacking chart. So I don't know if they're going to give you army markers. Maybe they will. And there's nothing on the backs of these. There's the Japanese version. Same thing as the US version. Task force composition. So naval task force creation occurs at the beginning of each turn. And looking at these look identical to me, so maybe each player will use those. Combat results table. Ground combat, torpedo, dive bombing. It's got it all, apparently. Naval surface combat, air-to-air, anti-aircraft strafing, and airfield bombardment, and kamikaze combat, so that's nice. Unit counter and marker glossary, so a nice reference sheet here for the counters that are included in the game. And just looking at the images here, they look rather busy. And then this is more naval surface combat resolution groupings. Sequence of play on the right-hand side there, so that is appreciated. Let's get all of this out of the way. And now we get to the counters, and this is all that's in the box. And already I'm not liking what I'm seeing, because there are counters in the bottom here. They look like control markers, but let's gently see what's going on here. This counter sheet is falling apart. But the good news is, now this looks like, well, the counters are falling out, so looks like maybe all the counters might be here after all. This is a black core, and I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can, I don't know if the camera's going to focus on this. I don't have to focus on it. Let me show you here. This, you can see the black core here. This is the black core that's in the center of these counters. It looks like the paper has pulled up, and it's not even tacky or anything. It's like it was just barely glued onto the top edge of this. That kind of worries me a little bit. I hope this isn't a problem with the counters themselves. I do intend to clip these. It looks like there are no center nibs on these things, and they look like the larger counters are not half-inch. And I will clip them. And there are some side nibs, though. I don't like that. So there's the front of this counter sheet. And I'm going to gently try to flip it over so you can see the back. There you go. So let's put that gently in there. Yeah, I don't like to see that at all. And here's another counter sheet. They are nice looking counters. They're not glossy, so they will show up hopefully on the video recording that I do eventually. They're about to fall out, so punching these out should not be a problem. And there's the back of that. Again, the black core. I don't see any of the paper pulling up on this one, so that makes me feel a little better. May have to get some wood glue or something to try to tack down the paper if it starts to pull up. I've never had to do that with any game that I can think of. More counters. So we're on our third counter sheet. Looks like there are 5 counter sheets total. I think this would be the U.S. forces here. We're looking at the blue counters. And here's the gap. And I think these are the counters we saw in the box here. I think these are just these control marker looking counters. And it looks like I'm going to have all the counters, so that is nice. Not disappointed at all. And the final counter sheet. So 5 counter sheets, so pretty counter dense game. I'm going to get this out of the way and we'll get this map out because like I said, it is a weird feeling paper to me. It's just really almost a cloth-like feel to it, even though it is obviously paper. Very large map. Very large map. This is not a standard size map at all. I'm going to have to pull the tape measure back out. Good Lord, this thing is huge. So if I do a playthrough, we're going to have to make use of the zoom in camera quite a bit. Let me grab the tape measure again so we'll measure this just to see. So this is 45 inches wide and it is approximately, I can get a catch up there. It's approximately 34 inches tall, so I think the height is about the width of a normal size map. So this thing is huge. Let me see if I can scoot this over a little bit so we can at least look at some of the land areas. And I'll scoot it up because down here at the bottom is Australia. This is the bottom of the map, which looks like it has a terrain effects chart down here. And what else? Some notes. There's an Allied control, Japanese control, terrain control markers reference sheet. New Guinea's up here. Slide it down. We can see Japan. And of course is up here. That's nothing special about this map. I've definitely seen much nicer map artwork. This will do. It does have all the little islands. Tons of them. There's the Marshall Islands, the Gilbert Islands, Howland Isle, Baker Isle, all the little islands that I'm familiar with, at least, seem to be on the map. There's Wake Island, and yeah, so it looks like, oh, here's Hawaii over here, the far edge of the map. So yeah, if I do a playthrough, I'm going to have to figure out something to do here to get the whole map. And what I'll probably do is like I did with the, right now I'm doing US Civil War from GMT. It's kind of the same situation. That map is not this big, but it does not, I can't get the whole thing on screen. So what I do is I get just most of it where most of the action is going to take place. Then I zoom in with a smaller camera. All right, so there you go. That's it. I just wanted to do this quick unboxing of Across the Pacific. I have, oh my gosh, I can't think of how many Pacific games I have now that I need to get to. If there's one I've done an unboxing for and you have yet to see, or if there's one you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to see this one, let me know that as well. Like I said, I'm not familiar with this game. It's supposed to have a unique chit pull system where you pull chits, you pull a certain number of chits, and your opponent actually sees the chits that you've drawn, but has no idea what order you will play the chits in. So the player gets to kind of decide from the chit pool which chits he wants to play when. And your opponent, well, she can determine what she wants to play in against your chit. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. And solitaire, that's not going to mess us up too much. We can certainly work with that. It still is a chit pool system and we can make that work. All right, there you go. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And as always, I look forward to seeing you back here next time.